Hope for Heartbreakers here, and I'm Kiana.
I'm Rahel.
I'm Jasmine.
And today we're going to discuss Takerra Allen's Seasons of Fidelity. So let's start with describing the series in one word. Which one word would you guys use to describe the series?
I thought
Phenomenal.
You said what?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I was gonna say something like that. More so like just amazing.
I'm going to go with emotional. This series drew so many emotions out of me. Like I laughed, I cried, I had anxiety. Like it was all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to go with emotional.
Yeah, you're right about it. There were a few times in the book where, y'all know me, I had to put it down. I had to take a break. I had to put it down because I was so mad.
Yeah, we had to talk you through that series.
We did.
Right here, not giving me no spoilers.
I'm not giving away spoilers.
That's all right, Kiana got me. Kiana got
I'm about to say, I give away spoilers.
I'm working on Kiana.
She not gonna fold. She not gonna fold.
She will.
So next, let's talk about what made us read the series. What made you guys pick up Seasons of Fidelity book 1?
You.
It's really
got it from
word of mouth. I mean, we've said this in a group before. Like word of mouth, I think with readers is so pivotal for the authors.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean, latest book I'm reading, I told one person, and then they carried it over to a whole nother group. So I think word of mouth, and it came highly recommended.
Yeah, I saw everybody on my Facebook feed talking about Seasons of Fidelity, and after I saw like maybe 5 people talking about it, I was like, you know what? I think I need to read this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then of course when y'all, because I'm not gonna lie, y'all can be harsh when it comes to, rating books or whatever. So when y'all said you should read it, I was like, all right, I'll pick it up, and boom.
Yeah.
So since we touched on ratings, what would you guys rate this series overall? All 3 books.
5.
5 of 5. Yep.
Yeah, I give it a 5-star rating as well.
Absolutely.
I think anything that can draw like real emotions out of you, that's how you can tell it's a good book. And like you said, like I literally shed tears reading that book. There were times where I wanted to throw the book across the room because I got pissed off about one of the characters. And one of the characters in particular had me laughing. So it was just like any book that can bring that many emotions out of you, I feel like, the writer did their job.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Let's talk about our favorite scene. What was you guys' favorite scene?
Ooh. Of course, any dice scene is a favorite for me. Where he's happy. But definitely Gigi and Ray's comedy.
In book 3, yes. Book 3 was hilarious. I think that was like the prevalent emotion in book 3.
Yep.
What was your favorite scene, Jazz?
I can't choose one, but any scene with Ray. I love Ray. And he's my favorite character, which, I mean, that's not what we're talking about right now, but there were just so many scenes with Ray in it that I was just like, yes. So. Yeah,
Ray's my favorite as well. And I guess because book 3 is like the most recent book, my favorite scene from book 3 was when Ray helped deliver the baby in the car.
Oh,
that was like my favorite from book 3.
You know what? My favorite scene probably should not be a favorite scene because it did not show the best side of Ray. But I think my frustration with Harrison made me be like, yes, get him.
When he punched him? I kind of did a little, yeah.
That was not Ray's best moment because I'm sure, like it was embarrassing. But at the same time, y'all know how I roll, so I was like, and that's what you get. You had it coming, so.
So next, let's talk about the saddest scene. You know, they had a few different sad moments in this series. Which one stood out the most to you guys?
I'm gonna say Dice being rejected by Bunny.
What are you talking about? When she left him when he was in prison?
When she left him on 3, and then also any scenes around RJ was just sad for me. When it 1 and 2 led up to what happened in 3, and when 3 just exposed everything, it was just the saddest thing I've ever read.
What about you, Jazz?
I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, just RJ. Like you said, I can't really pinpoint which scene was the saddest because all of them were just horrific. But you know what? I take that back because I feel like when they was in the courtroom and RJ's peers were talking about how they like humiliated him, that probably for me was more heartbreaking than the actual suicide. Only because, you know, in the suicide, it's like he was removing himself from the pain. Whereas when you're recounting the humiliation, it's like, dang, that baby went through some stuff. Like, so for me, it was really heart-wrenching reading what he had to go through at school. So that was probably it for me.
Yeah, RJ's death, of course, was the saddest to me. It happened in book 1, but I promise you, I grieved the entire book 2. Like, my chest was tight reading book 2. And then, of course, in book 3, we kind of had to, like, relive it. But also, Dice's upbringing was sad for me as well. The stuff that he endured when he was a child, that was kind of painful too. And it kind of made me understand him more and like his character a little bit more because, of course, he wasn't my favorite. Ray was my favorite. But then he kind of moved up, you know, after I realized, you know, about his upbringing and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Because, Dice wouldn't know, he wasn't a favorite of mine, but y'all know I'm a sucker for trauma and what that does. So
let's talk about a scene that made us cringe. What scene made you cringe?
I think Jazz touched on it. It was the whole court scene. I mean, we peeled the layers of what happened to RJ, what really happened to him, and that whole situation made me cringe.
What about you, Jazz?
Aside from what Ross said, the scene where Ray got caught slipping, like, because to me, like, Ray was the epitome of a man in my eyes. Mm-hmm. And when he got so mad at Regina that he went and did what he did with her kin, like, I cringed. I literally, that was the moment where I had to put the book down. Because I was like, come on, man. Like, I hold you to a standard.
Yeah, that was disappointing.
Yeah, he let me down. So,
like, we were rooting for you.
Say it again.
We were.
What'd she say?
We were rooting for him.
For real.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
So the scene that made me cringe was when they did, what was it, Christmas at Aaliyah and Dice's house, and that granny was there, and she cut Aaliyah down and was talking so bad about her. That made me cringe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, what that granny did to Aaliyah. That made me cringe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And what Bunny's cousin did to her.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. That was terrible.
And the fact that her older cousin, her female cousin, saw it and still victim blamed.
Never said anything.
Never said anything. And blamed Bunny for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next, let's talk about a shocking scene. What was shocking to you guys? Like, what made your mouth drop?
I mean, this particular scene that I'm going to talk about didn't make my jaw drop, but I was shocked that Bunny decided to leave Dice.
Yeah.
I did not expect that, because all throughout the book, you know, she never really put herself first. And so for her to do that when she was so like in love and infatuated with him, I really was shocked by the decision that she made in the end.
What about you, Ryan?
I think that one, and when the Canadian chick flipped on Dice.
Yeah.
Like, what did he do to you? What was your, what were you gonna gain from this? What was your purpose? What was your blood pressure?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was shocking to me as well. One scene that shocked me was Charisma and Dice sleeping together. Not saying I didn't expect it, but I guess the way it played out is what was shocking the most to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of understood a little. I mean, you can't really add logic to that situation, but it was a little more understanding, and I was more forgiving to Dice than Charisma, if that makes sense.
Dang, man, because I was not. I mean, I wasn't shocked. I wasn't shocked because of how Dice is and the way that Charisma is. So I wasn't shocked, but reading what went down didn't make me feel any sympathy for him at all.
It didn't? I did.
Why?
I did. Because he kind of has a condition, even though he isn't like diagnosed with it. Like, Dice is a sex addict, and it's only so much you can just dangle it in his face and he's like, no, chill, and like it to me, the way it read was like it hurt him to actually do it, but he couldn't help himself. Just not convinced.
Don't judge him.
I ain't saying nothing.
Yeah, I mean, in real life, I probably wouldn't be as sympathetic, but as far as the fictional world, yeah, I was sympathetic.
We're so opposites, because in the real world, I would have sympathy for someone who had a sex addiction. But for some reason, you know what it is? It's because I love Ray. And that was disloyal. Best friend. Mm-hmm. Nah, fam. I ain't got no sympathy for you. No.
I was shocked.
You were?
I was.
Why?
Not so much from Charisma's point. I wasn't shocked with her because she's slow. It was more Dice. I just thought he would have been a little bit more loyal.
Yeah.
Just because of how the three guys were just so down for each other. Ray went and did a stint.
Yeah. Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, I just thought they were just a little bit more loyal with one another. And so it did hurt my feelings.
I feel that.
So next, let's discuss favorite characters. Who's your favorite character and why? Go, Ryan. What?
We just gotta pick one?
Just do multiple ones. If you have more than one.
No, I can never just pick one. My top three. Dice. Yeah, my top three. Dice, Gigi, and Ray.
I thought you was gonna say Bunny.
She left Dice, so it's team forget Bunny.
Okay. All right. But okay, so up until the point she left, would she have been on your list?
Yes. because surprisingly, she was the one to change Dice around. And I love a story. I love a good story where a woman can come in and change the ways of a toxic man and make him learn love. But she left him at the end. She wasn't loyal, so it's team F her.
Don't do her like that. She did what was best for her.
Well, who are your three or your top favorite?
I only have two. It's Ray and Gigi, and I love a story about a rehabilitated black man, because I feel like oftentimes, there's this narrative pushed in our faces or forced in our faces, that black men are a certain way. Black men don't take care of their kids. Black men, cheat on their girls. Black men do this and that. And Ray was just he was the opposite. Like, he loved Gigi from the minute that he saw her, and he wrote for her. Like, even after she got married and had a kid by somebody else, like, that was his girl. And even in Gigi, like, she was one of my favorite characters, but in 3, she kind of dogged my dude. Like, she got disrespectful at times. She did. And even still, man, he was pissed with her, but he could never deny that love for her.
Never.
Yeah.
Ray was loyal, like you said, Ra. Like, he went to prison for his best friend. Who does that?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Ray did piss me off, though. We're not gonna say like he's just the man, and I understand y'all theory, because we've talked about this in our inbox a few times. But that DNA pissed me off.
I understood it.
I understood it.
I understand, but I'm still mad.
I mean, yeah, he went about it the wrong way. He did go about it the wrong way. Ray is not perfect. And that's why I feel like Ray was the way that she depicted him was great. Because he wasn't this character who was flawless. Like, he had his flaws, but he was solid. That was a solid character. And I just love Gigi because she was real. Like, I saw myself in Gigi.
Yeah.
Like, she was a comedy.
Huh?
In her comedy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I love them as a couple.
How about you, Kiana?
So I'm gonna pick my favorite character is the character that no one really talks about, but he kind of showed up in book 3, and I loved him for the way he showed up in book 3. Justice. Everybody forgets Justice, but Justice, I don't know, his swag in book 3, I was like, well, look here, like, normally Dice and Ray are like the most talked about characters, but like Justice was getting it in. He was having threesomes. He was smashing Jordan, and I was like, okay, like, I wasn't even checking for you before, but then afterwards I was like, okay, I see a little something in Justice. And I think his turnaround with AA, I think he did good. I was kind of rooting for him and I guess that's how you say it. I was rooting for them to be together, but then in the end, I think it was best for them to just be friends. I think with him and Jordan, like, grieving together and stuff, I think they might actually work.
Yeah.
So Justice was my favorite character because he was getting it.
I was mad about the whole him not being with the Yael part either, but then, and I was like, who is this Jordan? And then I went and read Restricted and Restricted 2, and I'm like, oh, I love Jordan. Like, my heart is out to her. So I'm cool with whoever he ends up with.
Yeah.
I couldn't get with Justice. I just could not get with Justice. I felt like he was, and y'all know I typically like toxic characters, but I feel like Justice,
he wasn't toxic.
I feel like Justice was hurt, and I feel like Justice should have worked on Justice before bringing people into his hurt, because hurt people. And I feel like, when Yael, I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly, but when she and him decided to be friends, he should have taken them, which he did. He went to AA, he was trying to take that time to work on himself, but I just feel like he shouldn't have went there with Jordan because he was not fully healed yet. And there were times throughout the book where he couldn't get it together. Like, he had Jordan over, then Yael came over, and he was caught in the middle because he didn't know who he wanted to like, dude.
That's what made me like him, because at first, like, he didn't have anybody, and then it was like, which one I'm gonna choose? Which one I'm gonna choose? And I was like, look at you, he got options.
No. But that's not fair, because then that means Dice needs to work on himself. That means Ray needed to work on. Ray just did how many years in prison? And we all know, y'all, let's be real and 100 with it. A man get out of jail, he just needs that moment for him to sow his oats out there, and before he commits to a woman, you know, like he didn't have his him time, you know, or his Ray time. He jumped right into a relationship from charisma to Gigi.
I agree, but the difference is for me, and I agree with you when you say that Dice do need time for himself, for sure. Yeah. To me, the difference is Ray wasn't out here hurting people, and I'm not saying that Justice meant to hurt people, but I'm just saying that when you are not fully together, when you're not fully healed, you inadvertently hurt other people. Now, he hurt Charisma, yeah, but I feel like that was a byproduct of his decision. He shouldn't have been with her when he was locked up. He ain't want her.
He did.
Like that whole thing.
But Ray hurt Gigi being with her cousin, though.
And did, but I don't think that had to do with him needing to work on himself. I think he did that because he was pissed off at Gigi.
He was.
Yep. Like it was there's two different reasons there. And I feel like Justice, like he homeboy never healed from the death of his wife, and he turned to alcohol. Like it was too much deep rooted issue. It was too much.
Well, to his defense, he thought Yael was dead, so.
True.
He did.
Yeah.
True. I still couldn't get with him.
I like Justice.
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, Gigi and Ray had started messing up, and then I was like, I can't deal with them. So Justice, his mess ups were different. They were more carefree. They were more, I don't know. I was like, go Justice. So
yeah,
maybe I'm toxic.
and to his defense, Justice was single the whole time.
The whole time. He wasn't in a committed relationship with Yael. Yeah.
I hate that's a conversation for another day, but I hate that. That whole logic of he's single, so I can soil oats here and here and here. No.
I mean, if the woman isn't pressing for a label or a title, how you mad at him?
Look at it.
You know what? We'll pick this back up later. What's the next question?
Let's talk least favorite character. I think we know Jazz's least favorite character.
Who? I bet you don't. Who?
Justice?
No.
Who?
My least favorite character is Charisma.
Mine too. Oh, wait, I got a slew of them. Hold on. The granny, Charisma, the cousin.
Oh yeah, the cousin. You're right.
Yeah.
What was Aaliyah's best friend name? The one that ended up being with August?
Oh yeah, her too.
Her.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was a lot of trifling people in this series, huh?
Yeah.
Oh wait, hold on. All them kids from the high school.
Right.
Yeah.
The whole high school.
We can't leave them out.
Even the administrators, the principal, the way that they handled the situation. Oh.
Everybody, yep.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of them.
And RJ's boyfriend, like even though he was a kid, like the way he left him hanging, that was messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was messed up.
So do we have to choose one?
I say we go with all of them.
Okay. They all equally suck.
Yeah.
So takeaways and lessons that you gained from this book. Did either of you take away any lessons from this book?
Well, y'all know I'm a sucker for love. And
yeah,
so
I am too.
My takeaway was, regardless of what you go through as a couple, you know, if you can, it can work if you stay together. Like if you know, work at it and you know, commit to making it work. Because Ray and Gigi, man, they went through a lot.
They did.
Even separately, because you had, you know, the whole thing that happened with Dice and Charisma over here, and then you had what Harrison did over here. Like, so they had their personal issues, and then they had their together issues. It was just a lot going on. But at the end, you know, they decided like, we're gonna have to make it together. And so I felt like that was my takeaway, because as Black people, we have so much working against us. And so even if you don't necessarily have issues as a couple, you might have your own individual issues going on. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But as long as you commit to your partner, it's like you can make it through anything.
Oh yeah.
You got a takeaway, Rob?
I don't know. I mean, Jazz put that together so lovely. Like, that was beautifully put together. My only other takeaway was Takerra Allen is a bomb writer, and I just want to run through her whole catalog in between these discussion books.
Definitely. My takeaway was, I guess because so many people were, I don't know if I want to say mean. I don't really know the word I want to use to describe it. But because of the feelings that RJ had, like, I never, ever want to project that onto a kid. And you know how sometimes we can be judgmental and we can say things that we don't know that might actually affect others. I kind of want to be more conscious and more aware of what I say and how I say it, as far as like kids, because you know sometimes we say stuff and we don't really realize the impact that it may have. So I kind of want to brittle my tongue a little bit and not be mean and misunderstanding as like a typical adult would be towards a situation like that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. That's all of the things we had to talk about. Make sure you guys follow us on all platforms. We're on YouTube, Hopeful Heartbreakers Book blog, Instagram, Facebook, and we also have a Facebook group, Hopeful Heartbreakers Book Club. You guys make sure to follow us, like us, subscribe, join, and come kick it with us.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. Bye.